Welcome to another episode of Candid Conversation with Adam Lopez. I am your host, Adam, and today we are going to be speaking to a special individual. Her name is Kristen Chavez, and she is General Manager for Work Comp Central, just out of Camarillo. Is that correct, Kristen?
That is correct. Yep.
Well, welcome to the show this morning. I'm so happy you accepted to be on this program to discuss many things in the industry, but I want to welcome you to the program this morning.
Oh, well, thank you. And thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
How have you been? How is your family? How's the community in Camarillo? I mean, I live in Oxnard. We're just 10 minutes away. But how has this pandemic and crisis been for you and your family personally?
It for personally, it's been a really unique experience on having. So I have three kids. I have one in college. I have one that's left junior high to went to high school during this, and then a first grader to second grade. So going into the pandemic, it was a big adjustment on the distance learning, which kind of set them up to thinking that's how this year was going to be. And then distance learning coming the next year has not been the same. So that's been the biggest adjustment. I think, like with everybody, we're running into frustrations and, trying to living on top of each other,
Yeah.
and it plus working, we all work now in the same space. So but I can't complain. They're healthy. But trying to keep a teenager home and, not be social has kind of been.
Yeah. You said something very key. They're healthy, so that's great, and I think that's one of the main points during this time is that we must have mental health. We must stay sane, have that balance, right? And like you as well, many millions of households had to adapt to working from home, children, distant learning, and it's like you said, we're on top of each other. So I know it must be difficult, and I'm glad you're doing fine and your family's doing good. We should be grateful, even though we're frustrated and sometimes we want to pull our hairs out. We should be grateful that our household is still safe, is still healthy, that our kids are healthy. So I'm glad to hear that, Kristen. Now let's get into the reason why we're here today, and it's talk about Work Comp Central. Tell me a little bit of Work Comp Central and how it has navigated through this current pandemic.
Yeah, so it's been really interesting the work comp space essentially is 50 different ecosystems going on all the time because we have the California situation, and then we have every other state. We had some states that didn't even close. When it first happened, our legal editor or reporter was kind of like, I don't know, let's talk about what I'm going to do when the courts closed. And then we never had to worry about that because one, the courts adjusted very well on being able to transition to go remote. So cases were still to some, none of them closed. And we're still handling work comp cases. Obviously there was a change, but with our industry, truck drivers, they essentially are still traveling across the country. So, their claims still need to be handled, the, different areas that still state impact. So with Work Comp Central, we're able to give, a claims adjuster that is possibly handling a new type of claim that they've never seen before or in a new jurisdiction because of the traveling, the nurses that went to a different state, they're able to go to the New York section or, with our coverage and learn about it.
I'm assuming having to be updated and keep up to date with regulations of each state. I mean, I always say California should be its own country because we're crazy with. I feel like there's just a group of people sitting in a room in Sacramento saying, "How can we make it difficult for business to function?" It's just everything is in California, but I'm sure other states also have scrutiny and are very, very strict with everything. But what is the challenge during this pandemic, Kristen, as far as all the changes, everything coming up? Has there been any challenge with you and your team to be able to support your different, clients throughout the United States?
No, actually, being a resource and being most of our employees were offsite, especially our reporters who cover the country were remote. So, they had their resources. Everybody went virtual, so they were able to actually get data, if anything, not faster, because before it was like going to a conference, you essentially are gone for, as many days to go to that
Yeah.
conference to cover it. Where now it's like you log on to this webinar, you get the content, and then that. So we were able to mobilize fairly quickly, and if anything, not get more resources out to the community.
That is great. Did you guys see a decline of businesses closing due to the situation? A lot of local mom and pop shops, small businesses. What was your take on all that?
There were certain segments that did take a
Yeah,
hit, certain clientele that did. But for the most part, like I said, I mean, just like how everybody
sure.
saw, I wouldn't want to say there's one in particular.
Yeah, correct.
For the most part, I think everybody had multiple lines, or if not, were writing in other areas.
So we are speaking with Kristen Chavez. She is general manager for WorkComp Central. Now, Kristen, what type of services or support do your prospects, your clients receive? What if I sign up for WorkComp Central? What could I expect?
So our biggest audience, or our biggest tools for right now, are for the legal and insurance companies, especially in California. We have obviously the stories, the case law, but we also have a suite of calculators, so rating calculators, commutation calculators, as well as like the panel decisions. So you have access to the panel decisions, codes,
Mm,
law. So, and we're working to build that in all the states, as many as we can across the country, obviously the top 5. But for California, the biggest thing a lot of people come to is our calculators, and use us to help them with their ratings or commutations, and it makes them more efficient. So
well, that's great, and because we also know, especially in California, right, the X mod and the loss analysis for some of these clients, getting a good premium for insurance rates. I mean, all that is very important, and I highly encourage whoever's listening and watching this video that reach out to WorkComp Central, reach out to Kristen to see how they can support you. At the end of the day, number one, we obviously want to keep everybody safe at the workplace, but also the health of the safety, not necessarily implementation or enforcement, but actually your loss history, your launch trends, your XMod, your modification, all that is very important. And and a lot of people, Kristen, for the most part, they understand that, but a lot of individuals, they don't really understand how that really drives your bottom dollar, your bottom line when it comes to profitability, or renewal process, or the XMod, or all that stuff. So it's really important, and I'm glad you're offering these type of services to those companies. So if anybody's out listening and watching this video, reach out to Kristen. And I believe the website, Kristen, is www.workcompcentral.com. Is that correct?
that is correct. Yes.
So they can go on their platform. You can look at all the contact, reach out to Kristen directly. Again, it's www.workcompcentral.com. They're located right out of Camarillo, California, but it's an excellent resource and service for all of you. Now, Kristen, before we end this segment, just want to briefly touch bases on how has there been a very significant increase of clientele saying, "Hey, we need your guys' services. Our work comp claims have just skyrocketed." Did you see a jump of business for you during this time, or was it a little bit of a decline?
Um, in the beginning, it wasn't so much of a decline, but just like, can we put a pause on? And then kind of when the reopening happened, we had accounts reactivated, and then come the second part is it's just been a lot of actually transitions, and not so much a decline, but just people moving around, and
Yeah.
yeah. But not too much of a decline. And if anything, it's our education component really skyrocketed. So before,
Wow. Okay.
it was, we weren't, but now we offer claims credits for Texas and Florida as well. So since that, we've branched into other markets to start trying to offer more of what we do.
That is great. Well, thank you for that information. We're speaking to Christine Chavez. She's the general manager for WorkCom Central here in California, but they service all 50 states. Excellent resource and excellent tool for every company from all industry, especially right now, they're talking about legal aspect, educational aspect is key. It's very important. So, Kristen, I want to thank you and everybody at WorkComp Central for providing this excellent service and tool and resources and support to those companies, especially during this time. It's extremely important to stay educated, stay informed, stay connected, stay engaged, receive the necessary help and support. And it looks like you guys are doing just that for the work comp world. There you have it, Kristen. Thank you for sharing this information, valuable information. Thank you for what you do. And it's just great. We need each other. We need to connect with each other. We need to support each other, especially during this time. So we've been speaking to Kristen Chavez, General Manager for WorkComp Central out of here in Camarillo, California. Thank you so much, Kristen, for participating in this program. And you've been watching another episode of A Candid Conversation with Adam Lopez. I am your host, Adam Lopez. So stay tuned for amazing more interviews. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, friends. This is Adam Lopez from A Candid Conversation with Adam Lopez. I want to thank you so much for watching my videos and watching every episode, every segment. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Continue sharing the content. You know what? We have many great interviews coming up. A lot of valuable content, a lot of valuable information, educational as well. So I want to thank you so much for your support and continue watching my videos. Thank you.